All right. It's a new week. And did you know it's the last week of the school year? Just kidding. No, it's the last week before spring break, and it's the last week before the end of the 9 weeks. And we have a test this week on Thursday, okay? So, if your grade is awesome, don't mess up on Thursday. If your grade is not awesome, don't mess up on Thursday. If you are breathing in this room or listening to this video later, you need to do awesome on this test on Thursday, right? Or at least not get a worse grade than your average, okay? So again, I want y'all to be successful on Thursday. That happens by doing your work, turning it in, reviewing correctly, and then knocking out that test on Thursday, right? So, as you can see up here on the sideboard, so not the front board, but if you're here live, looking at me, whoop, over here, sliding board over here, things that are going to go in, hopefully by tomorrow, quadrilateral properties practice. Have you turned that in? If not, so. The writing. Now, most people have done this because I've been on y'all to make sure you finish it in class, but a few of us have not done it yet, so make sure you do it. It should be an easy 100 because everyone did exactly what I said, right? And then area and perimeter from Friday. Now, a lot of people haven't turned that in. I know it was kind of long. Today after the notes, which I'll try to keep brief, you can turn that in. We do have an assignment for today, okay? So now the assignment for today is actually connected to your notes. So eventually, I'm going to ask you to separate the stapled papers there. You don't have to do that yet. But I'll just shoot straight with y'all. That way we can not, I don't want to overburden y'all. But on the assignment for today, which is the second page of this packet, if you just do the front side, I'll be happy. But the back side is good practice to get to prepare for your test. But when we get to that assignment, again, if you just do the front side, that'll be fine, okay? So, again, things you see on the board, make sure you turn in your stuff. Test is this Thursday. Turn in the assignment from Friday. If you're not done, okay, finish it today, hopefully. Tomorrow we'll also have some time to work on stuff, finish up our work. But Wednesday, for sure, is reviewing. Thursday is for sure test. And you only got Thursday to finish it, maybe Friday, but it's hard to give you test back if you don't finish on the first day, right? So, all right. So again, now I warned y'all, warned you, okay? Tutoring this week.
Yay! With whom?
I'll be here Tuesday morning, and I'll be here Friday morning, and that's it. So you had your chance last week to come see me after school, and if you didn't come and you need to come this week, it's a sad thing, but Mr. G documented on every video this week that I told you, and I reminded you that you had to come last week. So, especially if you need to take a quiz or test, because Miss Murrow can't do that for you. All right, so here we go. We're going to do our notes. Yeah, if you do need tutoring, talk to me. So, area and perimeter of polygon composite figure notes. So we're going to do this real quick. You're going to realize, oh, hey, it's not that bad. And then we're going to work, right? So at the top there, it says a composite figure is made up of 2 or more different figures or shapes. So again, here's our word for the day, composite. Composite means more than 1, 2 or 3 or more different figures. Basically, they're just stuck together. So y'all ready for the notes for today? Here's the thing that you're going to learn today. You're going to add multiple shapes together. It's a profound thing, I know. Okay, but basically, if you look at this note sheet, you will hopefully notice that all these shapes are just 2 or more shapes stuck together. And so all you're going to do is kind of divide them up, find their areas, and then add them together. That's it. So, let's talk about this example 1, finding 2 things, perimeter and area of the composite figure. The one thing about this picture that's kind of, is that 18. Where does that 18 go? So everybody draw this little arrow. That's 18, okay? Now, is anything missing to find the perimeter? Yep. right here. What the heck is that? Well, who has an idea? How can we figure out that missing side? What? Okay, it looks like half of 30, but the bottom is 30, and then up here is 24. So this right here plus this right here should equal this at the bottom, 30, right? So really, we're going to take the whole 30, subtract the one we know, 24, and you'll notice it's not drawn to scale. Okay? So, sorry. But let's do that real quick. So 30 minus 24 gives us 6. So let's label this right here, 6. And you'll notice we have another missing side. Okay. Over here, this is missing, but we know this whole one right here. So if this is 27 and this is 18, do the same thing. We're going to subtract 27 minus 18 gives me 9. So right here, this is 9. So again, it's not to scale. It is what it is. Okay. All right. Now we have all the sides. How do I find perimeter? Add them up. So let's do that. So P equals 24 plus 18 plus 6 plus 9 plus 30 plus 27. And that's all of my sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. Add them all up. And what do we get? Anybody get it? Y'all need some assistance here? 114? You sure? Okay, well then I'll trust you. 114 what? Feet. Good. All right, now, let's talk about composite area. So perimeter is always the same. Add up the outside, not the inside, not the height, just necessarily. But the area, what is this shape? I don't have a formula for this shape. But hopefully you see that this weird looking thing is really just two rectangles, right? So I'm going to use my green to separate this into two rectangles. Okay? So rectangle on the left is 27 by 24. Rectangle on the right is 6 by 9. So if I can find each of those areas, I'm going to do what I learned today. And I'm just going to add them together. Find area of one, find area of the other, add them up. That's it. So let's do that. The area, we'll call it area 1, because I'll call this one number 1. And then this one will be figure number 2. Okay? So the area of number 1 is going to be length times width, right? Because it's a rectangle. 27 times 24 is 648. 648 feet. And now let's find the area of the second one. It's another rectangle, length times width. So 6 times 9 is 54. So I'm going to put another one. The total, okay, is going to be A1 plus A2. Just add those two numbers together. 648 plus 54 equals, what should we get? 702, and my units are still feet, but they're going to be feet squared, or square feet, because we're talking about area, two-dimensional, okay? So taking a step back and thinking about this, again, we found two areas and added them together because this is a, what's the new word today? Composite figure. All right, let's go to example 2. All right, example 2. So we have the same task. to find the perimeter, okay, and area of the shaded figure below, okay? Excuse me. All right. So, for perimeter, I need to know all the sides, right? But I got some missing sides, right? Two of the missing sides are the exact same, but this will hopefully remind you of something we did on Friday, okay? When I have missing sides, typically I'm going to have to use something we've learned before, Pythagorean Theorem, right? What I want to find out first is this triangle over here. To find these missing sides, I really need to find this height first, okay? So what is this height? So I know from here all the way to here is 11, and I know from here all the way to here is 8. So this is going to be the difference. So 11 minus 8 is 3, right? So this height is 3. Does that make sense? From horizontally, 8 plus 3 is 11. Okay, now I'm going to redraw that triangle down here. Actually, make it a little bigger. Okay, the height is 3. The whole bottom length is also, from here to here, it's also 3, right? So this is one of those situations where I get a right triangle by cutting it in half. So this is 3. What's this length right here? Half of 3 is 1.5. And then I got my missing hypotenuse, which is what I'm looking for, that missing side. So I'm going to use my favorite Pythagorean theorem, right? So remember, A and B are right here. Across from the 90 is my C. So 3 squared plus 1.5 squared equals x squared. I can figure out that missing side by adding up those squares. So 3 squared plus 1.5 squared. Hold on one second. Let's type that in. Gives me 11.25. And remind me, how do I get rid of a square? What's the opposite of squaring? Students in high school. Square root, right? So square root, square root. So this is all just to find that missing side. Square root 11.25 gives me 3.35, all right? So we did all that work just to find out that this is 3.35 and this is 3.35. All right? If you had assumed it was just 3, that would have been off by 0.35, and it would have been obvious in the answer. Okay, so it's not quote-unquote close enough. You got to do the Pythagorean theorem. So the perimeter, we add up all the sides. I want you to notice when we do perimeter, 11 is not a side, right? This side over here is 8. It has to match this side over here. 11 is all the way across, but that doesn't mean it's a side length. Okay, so I actually only have 5 side lengths. Okay, and they're at this point now they're all blue. Okay, so I got 3 on the left, 8 on the top, 3.35 and 3.35 on the right, and then the bottom is actually 8, not 11. It's the most common error. Please be careful. So let's add all that up. 8 plus 3.35 plus 3.35 plus 8 plus 3. And we get 25.7 meters. Okay, now, we have 2 figures here, right? The figure on the left, I'm going to divide this by in a green line. On the left, we got a rectangle, right? Got 3 times 8. And then for the triangle, I got a base of 3 and a height of 3. So let's find our two areas, and then like we said, just add them up. So I'm going to do area, put a little rectangle next to that. Area of the rectangle is length times width. 8 times 3 is 24 meters. Well, we'll get to the end there. And then the area of the triangle. What is the area of a triangle? What's the formula for it? 1/2 BH, or BH over 2, right? Base times height divided by 2. So, let's do that. The base of the triangle, it's sideways, but the base is 3, and the height is 3. So 3 times 3 divided by 2, 9 divided by 2 is 4.5, yeah? So, for my total, I'm going to take my two parts, I'm going to add them together. You should get 28.5 meters squared. Okay? So, I showed you two types of problems. I hope you get the idea. Perimeter is always the same. Composite area, you find the two parts and you add them together. If you're missing a side length on a triangle, bet you're probably going to have to use Pythagorean Theorem. Okay, just saying. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to take this page and rip it. Okay, the front one is your notes to keep forever and ever and ever and ever. The second one that says the word practice at the end of it, area and perimeter of polygon composite figure practice, like this, that's your assignment, right? Whoop. Of course, you know how to do this correctly. So 1 and 2 are just like the notes. Whoa, don't do that, sorry. 3 and 4 are similar also to the notes. 4 is a little bit easier than number 2, okay? You don't have to use Pythagorean Theorem, spoiler alert, okay? If you do the front side of this, I'll be happy. I'd rather you do the front side of this, and then make sure you go back to what we were working on Friday and finish that, okay? So again, front side of this is what I'm grading, okay? Grading the front. So let's work on that, knock it out, and then turn some stuff in, right? Again, if you don't finish today, tomorrow's the day to wrap up composite, wrap up area and perimeter, wrap up quadrilateral practice, get it all in, because we're going to review Wednesday, test Thursday, and the end of the 9 weeks is Friday. So let's do what we got to do, all right?